Thank you for your interest in Cyber Church of Christ and watching our videos on YouTube. And we hope it piques your interest, spiritually feed you, and that you'll want more and contact us. We love to study with you in person, but we'll also accept any questions. We'll look them up and show you the scriptures that answer your questions because we're commanded to do so. Normally, if you're looking through our YouTube channel, you'll see that we have topics that is topics driven. We know I had different topics. So if there's a topic you're really interested in, see what the Bible says about it. Either search it and call it up or scroll through. We have about 200 different ones stored, but there's bound to be something that'll pique your interest. Today's is called Do Good. You know, there's a saying that says, do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. And you'll hear that and hear people repeat that and quote that, seen it in movies. Well, actually, that's not how it says it. If you do unto others as you would have them do unto you, you wouldn't find it in the Bible. But I know what you're talking about. So let's look at the verses that are like that. Today's topic is called "Do Good," uh, which would be a command. You know, like in English, when you don't see the verb there, it's called understood you, means it's to you. And that's how commands are. So we're going to look at do unto others like our neighbors or our fellow man. That's who the others are, also known as the golden rule. If you ask somebody, even that has very limited knowledge of the Bible, what's the golden rule? They'll say, well, do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. Okay, well, that's pretty close. There's one in Matthew and one in Luke. Let's look at both of those. Matthew 7:12, Jesus teaching. And you can also see we always have these references up here when our demos, if it has a reference. Matthew 7:12, Jesus speaking, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. And there's a colon there. For this is the law and the prophets. Okay, so you know what I want you to do? Okay, well, if you want to get back at somebody, is that what you'd want them to do to you? Well, no. Well, this is the whole basis of being a Christian is loving your fellow man. And if you don't want something done to you, you shouldn't be doing it to somebody else. And so even a guy who doesn't believe in Bible will even know what verse this is talking about. He'll know. He'll say, "Yeah, do what about the do unto others?" You know, you'll hear that. Well, that's because that's the whole what our doctrine is based on a love of our Father and the love of our fellow man, and all of the commandments all hang off of that. That's a different topic today. But you can see here, therefore, whatsoever, so it doesn't matter what it is, whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, what would you want them to do to you if they needed help? Would you want to give them help? I don't know if you needed help. Do you want them to give you help? So actually, it's pretty easy. This is an easy thing. What's not easy is to start thinking about, well, whether I should or not because I have reasons. You know how man, he'll come up with a reason not to do a commandment. You know, so, well, I will do that commandment most of the time, but, and then they'll tell you what follows the but is that, you know, I don't have to do it because, and then they'll have an excuse. Of course, that's why the Bible's written the way it is. So, anyway, this is something that we live by. We live by, we being the Christians, live by doing unto others as you would have them do unto us. And this is how it's written out. It's much shorter and a little simpler stated in Luke 6:31. And as ye, this is Jesus quoting again, and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. So it has the same philosophy. Okay, what would you want if their mother is in ailment and wants prayer, then what? Well, that's an easy one. Just go pray for their mother. Well, what happens if someone asks you something that's going to take time or money? Oh, well, I'm not sure, I'm not sure I want to do that or not. Yeah, that's where it comes into play. All right, we're going to dive into this topic of doing good to see there's a little more detail to it than this. But I'll put these two scriptures up first because this is the philosophy behind the whole thing. And let's continue with this. Let's look at Galatians 6:10. Galatians 6:10. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. And what is this? What is this household of faith? What does that mean? Well, that's the church. One of the synonyms of the church, sometimes their pronouns, would be the household of faith. That's who we are. The house of God. Spiritual house. It doesn't have a building, doesn't have walls, but we're in the household of faith. Okay. And we're going to do good, especially to those that are in the kingdom. Okay, so we can treat them more special. Well, they are your brother or sister, or brothers in Christ. The others may be brothers or sisters uh, in carnal world, as far as blood goes, but as far as the spirit goes, then we would be what? All brethren. And the spirit has no gender. So we would want to do good unto all men. And what is this opportunity? When did that present itself? Well, it presents itself all the time. I ran into somebody that needed help and they said, hey, can you help me? Well, there's an opportunity for me to do what? To do good. Okay, well, I know, but I wasn't even planning on doing anything. I stumbled upon this, and then I got kind of blindsided by somebody wanting something. The opportunity for them came along. Okay, well, this doesn't say opportunity for you. That would be what? In today's vernacular, we would say what? The situation. The situation at hand. The situation was this. Yeah, well, in here we have opportunity. What do you think charity is? It's the opportunity to do good. Yeah, and to get a reward upstairs, not downstairs. We want to do good unto all men. I know, but some men aren't worth doing good for. Says who? Uh, well, I was just using logic because they're actually a bad person. So, okay, well, that's probably why there's a commandment. Oh, yeah, you have a commandment to do good. It doesn't say if the other guy's this, if there's some kind of stipulation or some kind of exception to this. No, there is no but, and then do this instead. No, it just says an opportunity. A man needs something. This is females, of course, means men and women. Need something from you that you have. Well, that's where this opportunity comes in. Can you actually help them? Yeah. Well, they wanted these two things that are real important: time and money. Oh, so time and money. Yeah, time and money is actually, I do this do good all the time here. If it wasn't for time and money, I didn't have time to mess with it. And besides, it was going to cost me. That wasn't in my budget to help this guy out. Okay, well, that's why there's a Galatians 6:10. Who are you working for? Yourself or for the Father? Oh, yeah. So that's your real employer. So no, you do good. You don't get an excuse. I know we do that. We haven't. Well, I would help them, but yeah. Well, that's what today's lesson is. It's talking about doing good regardless. All right, we are now to look at this next commandment here. To some of us, would seem like almost impossible to do. We're to teach that true riches come from God. Okay, well, The bank has true riches coming from the amount of coins they got in there. Yeah, those are riches of the world. Okay, and then true riches are what? Spiritual. So if someone said, hey, brother, are you rich? Well, you ask me if I'm spiritually rich, I'm going to say, yeah, actually, I'm probably wealthy. Oh, physically? Well, no, I'm not rich. I look, my neighbor got more than I got. So you're looking at it carnally. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's look at 1 Timothy 6, 17 and 18. 1 Timothy 6, I think, is where you're going to find that the love of money is the root of all evil. I think that's 6:10. But you'll look it up. Charge them, look at this, 1 Timothy 6:17. We'll do 17 and 18 because this is a head scratcher here. Charge them sounds like a commandment. Yeah, it does. And the commandments to who? Well, Christians, those are in the household of faith. Oh. Charge them that are rich in this world that they be not high minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to tell the rich guy what? He told me he doesn't even believe in the Bible, in God and all that. He told me that what I do is a bunch of hooey, it's just kind of foolishness. But yeah, the Bible says he'll say it's foolishness. Okay, but he doesn't even believe he's rich in the world and I have a commandment. All right, go over that again. Charge them that are rich in this world that they be not high minded. Okay, so I need to remind them that everything they got is actually from our Father. You don't even have to believe in God, and God gave you stuff. Oh, and are you breathing? You are. Okay, well, then you got a gift from God. Well, you think you're just breathing by accident? I mean, the whole creation's here allowing you to breathe. You know what's out allowing you to be rich in this world? The Father's allowing that. So, anyway, I got a commandment to remind you that don't trust in your riches of the world. And like you'll even hear that from common man. You can't take it with you when you die. And it is what? These riches. Yeah, that's the big it in life and more riches. And then how are you going to measure success? Right here on these uncertain riches. That's how I know a guy's successful or not successful. He or she, they appear to be rich. They're real wealthy. Okay. Well, those are uncertain riches. Why is that? Because of the bigger barn theory. What happens when they die? The riches are where? Well, they're still here on planet Earth. Okay, where are the riches of your spiritual riches? And where is that? Oh, that goes with you. Okay, so if I have riches of spiritual riches, I'm rich, like I told you earlier. I consider myself wealthy as far as spiritually goes. Yeah, and why is that? Because I'm going to take it with me. Yeah, that's not getting buried here. Oh, okay. So what I want to do is what? I want to live richly with things, but I'm living richly with what? With spirit, with the truth, with the Bible. Okay. That's our guide in life. So anyway, we're supposed to charge them to, hey, remind you that you're not taking any of this with you. And would you like to study? Father's the one that gave you all that. Would you like to study some Bible? Maybe it gives us a thing called opportunity, an opportunity to teach. Would that be an opportunity to do good? Well, yeah, it wouldn't get much better than that, especially if you can find somebody that actually wants to believe the truth and call on the name of the Lord. Look at verse 18, the next verse. 1 Timothy 6:18. That they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. All right, so wealthy guy, and I'm doing what? I'm reminding him or her, that the riches of the world are uncertain, and you agree you're not taking them with you when you die. All of you guys agree with that. Okay. Now you know what you need to be rich in good works. If they do good, there's riches in the world. I'm saying you got riches in the world. I can see them, and your bank account's fat. Okay, so that's for sure. You're rich in the world, but I'm going to charge you with something here. That's those are uncertain riches. What about getting rich spiritually? So maybe we'll have an opportunity to teach at that point. And you know what? You need to do good. This person that's wealthy and has uncertain riches, yeah, need to remind them, because it says here, charge them. That's to either remind them or tell them initially to do what? To do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute. Distribute what? Distribute whatever the Father's given you. Well, I know, but I got to hold on to my wealth. I'm actually got a will. I'm going to give them to my children, to my company. Okay. Well, this says ready to distribute. I don't think this is talking about your uncertain riches on the distributing here, fella. I think it's talking about distributing good works. Oh, rich in good works, ready to distribute. Yeah. Now, can it come in the form of money? Well, of course. Someone needed something and money got the purchase for them to have something. So I gave them money. Okay, but that was still a good work. So the love of money is the root of all evil. So I'll hear people say, well, money is the root of all evil. I go, well, the love of money. I have money in my pocket. That money's not evil. It's only evil when I go do something evil. Well, and that's not my first love. My first love is this getting into heaven thing, not money. Okay, because why? I have certain riches, certain that I'm going to get judged in the end. And you know what I'm hoping that the judge finds in me? Good works. I want this good works. Yeah. And did you distribute your good works? Well, I hope so. While I was live on Planner, I'm going to get judged on that. All right, so that's just a couple of verses. Let that float around in your mind a little bit. Talk about a difficult commandment to tell a rich guy, hey, you're not rich spiritually. You want to be rich spiritually. So yes, I understand the commandment, and I understand the complexity involved with it. And part of it has to do with their love of money. Okay, I got all that, but it doesn't remove my commandment. So I still need to remind them that, hey, you need to do good works. Father's giving you what you got. How about be ready to distribute good works? Now, when we do good, let's move to this next section here. When we do good, evil is also present. What? I'm just trying to help the guy out. What do you mean evil is also present? Huh. All right, well, let's look at Romans. That's where a lot of this how you live with fellow man occurs, book of Romans. Yeah. For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Okay. So there was something you were supposed to do good and you didn't do it. And then there's evil you're not supposed to do and you did do it. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but that has happened, yes. I'm talking about the mirror, yes. Verse 20, because I want to see these three verses together here. Now, look at verse 20. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Oh, okay. So the fact that I have sin living in me is why I didn't do what I should have done. That's what verse 19, the reason why verse 19 occurred, the reason is in verse 20, because you have sin dwelling in you. And what do we pray for, us Christians, and especially us in the household of faith in the Cyber Church of Christ? What are we doing? Well, we're going to pray for forgiveness of sin. Oh, Yeah, because sometimes I'll do evil when I didn't want to. That's just the way it turned out. And then I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I didn't really do it on purpose, but anyway, I got trapped. Actually, there was a device made and I fell for the device. Okay. So now if I do that, I would not. It is more, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in. Okay, so the sins that I commit are because they're living in me. Yeah, yeah, and that's part of being in heaven. He said, hey, you know what? Sin doesn't exist up here and will no longer dwell in you. Whoa, ain't that a nice thought? Well, that's why you can't do evil in heaven. There's no sin living there for you to have dwell in you. You're going to have nothing but what? Glory dwelling in you. All right, well, that gives me some consolation. So that's why I go ahead and pray for forgiveness, to get a clean slate, get back in good because of this sin. The sin that I did because I had sin in me, and I wanted to get rid of it. Okay, now how do you get rid of it? It's called forgiveness. I forgive my fellow man. I forgive them they do, and then I ask the Father to forgive me for what? This Romans 7:19 thing. That's when evil came around and I had evil dwelling in. I mean, I had to get back at the guy. I mean, he made me mad. Okay, so you had sin dwelling in you and then you made it just come alive? Oh, yeah. Well, why don't you work on that? Why don't you work on getting rid of this sin that lives in you? That's what the whole doctrine is. Our doctrine is to have no sin. What did Jesus do? I was put in a world of sin and it never let it dwell in me. And I became your Lord and Master. Sure did, didn't you? Okay. So that dwelleth in thing. This is a big deal. Yeah. You got sin living in there. And what's this sin going to do? Well, it's the sin's going to do this evil thing. Huh? When I did that. And it really wasn't me, but it was the sin dwelling in me. Okay, so when I get saved in the end, there won't be any sin? No, no, I got limited. No, you'll be living in glory. Sin's been removed. Okay. Well, this was kind of a bummer topic about the sin living in me. And then when I think about being saved in the end, well, it sounds glorious because to me, this was preparing this sermon, big reality check. Yeah. Huh. All right, let's look at verse 21. Kind of sums this up. Romans 7:21. I find then a law, and what is a law? Commandments. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. Well, I'm just trying to do good. Yeah, and who doesn't want you to do good? Satan, correct. Where does Satan live? Here on planet Earth where I'm living. Okay. Well, there he is. And doesn't he seek whom we may devour? That's a different topic. Yeah. So Satan is there to do what? Well, he's present. He's got some sin dwelling in you there, and you know what? He'd like to have that sin kick in and not have your good work kick in. Oh, so what do I do? Well, overcome. We have a commandment: overcome. That's what you're overcoming. The evil's present. You're trying to do good, and you know what? Do good anyway, and let the evil do what the evil does. So this says I did good and evil went away. No, it says evil's present. Oh, so we have a commandment to do good even though evil is present. Yeah. Okay, well, what if I had to do something good to somebody that did evil? Well, that's likely the case. Oh, doesn't change the notice when I look at these commandments, they don't change because of some condition that I came up with. I would help them, but no, we don't have that. This says here that you're going to do good. Yes, evil's hanging around. You got sin living in you. Sometimes it comes out and does evil. Don't blame yourself. Blame the sin that's living in you. Well, wouldn't that make you feel better? Just get rid of the sin that's in me. Let me do good. Well, that's our life. That's what a Christian life is. So yes, let's get over. So I don't care what you did. If you've ever been in prison or what you've been, you have a chance to get and do good. Evil, you're not getting away with getting rid of evil. It hangs around. We're just looking to see what you do. So if you're breathing, you have a chance to be forgiven. You have a chance to get in the kingdom. You have a chance to be saved in the end. That's the only reason why Cyber Church of Christ exists. It exists so that you can be saved at Judgment Day. Other than that, what are we doing? That's all we're interested in. We're interested in saving ourselves and saving our fellow man and all those that believe. Okay. Now let's look at how we're going to end today with James 4:17. Not doing good when you should is a sin. Oh, well, I was going to do good, but this circumstance came up. Well, yeah, because you know why? Why? Because evil is present. That's why. Oh, yeah. So you know to do good, but guess what? Evil's present. Now what? Now I'm picking between the two. You want to do good or not? All right. So therefore, James 4:17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is a sin. I know, but the circumstance got in the way. I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be where I was when suddenly I got tested to see if I was going to do good or evil. It just so happened. Uh-huh. And did you know to do good? Well, yeah, I knew to do good. And then you didn't do it because why? Well, I got a whole bunch of reasons. Okay, well, if you looked at James 4:17, it says no matter what, you're supposed to do good. And then if you didn't do good, then what? Then it's a sin for you. Huh? Well, the other guy, what other guy? No, to him it is sin. So we're to do good regardless of the situation. Of course, Satan's going to put the deal in front of me to say, hey, you know what? You don't need to do good here because, and then he'll have a litany of information there for me to do what? To disobey the commandment. Well, that's sneaky Pete. Well, that's what he does. It's the subtlety. Isn't that how he got Eve to sin? Subtlety. It's all sneaky Pete. Everything's sneaky. Huh? That's how you got tempted. Yep. So anyway, a little forceful in today's sermon, uh, because not all of it is hunky dory. Some of it is a slap in your face, and this is one that says, "Hey, you know what, brother and sister, you need to do good no matter what situation you get in. I mean, there's sin dwelling in you. Let's get rid of that. If you didn't do good, then sin won. You didn't win. And what are we? We are nothing but spiritual battles. That's what do you think life is? Life is a spiritual war that's full of spiritual battles. And we fight that battle to win. We put on the whole armor of God. Look at Ephesians chapter 6. You would put in the whole armor of God because why? Because of this, what we're talking about today, this evil thing. Okay. So anyway, it was a good lesson for me to do good because, I'm a guy that likes to make an excuse to not do good. Part of it lazy, part of it because of the circumstances. Okay, well, this was a big reality check. Mr. Mirror, you're supposed to do good regardless of the situation that happened. What do you mean you didn't like the guy? Doesn't matter you didn't like the guy. You got a commandment here. Did you look at Romans? It says here you do good no matter what. And in James 4:17 it says, hey, you know how to do good, you need to do it. If not, it's a sin. Okay, very good. So yes, quite humbling. quite humbling a lesson I needed to, because a lot of these sermons, you're going to look at it and think the sermon's for you. You're not going to even know that most of these sermons are for me. Yeah. I'll look at them and go, oh, look at that. Yeah, I didn't do good when I was supposed to. Yeah. So, yes, it's for each of us as Christians, but it's still a glorious doctrine. Look, it's the sin dwelling on you that's dwelling in you that's doing the sin. You're a good person. What you need to do is just do good. Let the good in you come out, and then you'll be rewarded up there. I don't need to have your money. I need to have the good from upstairs. I need to have good works being recorded by my judge, so that we can go over at the end. When I get judged in the end, you know what I get judged on? On sins? No, I'm getting judged on these good works. Oh, we're going to get rid of the sin. So what you need to do is build up good works. So anyway, that's today's lesson. You can see there's just a few scriptures in here. And of course, to do good, I could use half the Bible. But I just pulled out a few of these and decided, you know what? I'm going to put this, when evil's present, I'm going to put this Romans 7:19, 7:21 in there because I need that. All right, I hope you have a great day. We're Cyber Church of Christ. We'd love to have you join us. And more important, we'd love to have you get into the kingdom and become a brother or sister in Christ. Hope you have a great day and that you're interested in us and in our videos. We're the Cyber Church of Christ.